Alright, so here I'm back for our second test match. We're going to keep. I think this hand's pretty good. It's got a preordained to filter out some draws, a couple of removal spells, one of them not being great, but you get the point. No idea what my opponent is playing. Okay, they're playing a Delver deck, so that works, because now I can go Tragic Slip on the Delver's Secrets and feel great about my life. Die. Please don't have days. Can you not have days? Thank you. Every time a Delver player takes a few extra seconds, you always have to feel like, can you just not have days, please? Thank you. But, yeah, so... I'd imagine... I don't have personal experience against Delver with this deck. Not mono blue or blue red. I have Angler Delver, and I think I lost to it, but... You know, happens. I think Delver's probably a fairly even matchup. The thing is that they play, I think, a few less lands than you, and they draw a few more cards. But the big thing about it is that their mana's better. So their excuse me, their draws are not going to be as clunky. I kind of want to, yeah, I think I'm just going to get out the Dimir Aqueduct and just try to stay on curve and not throw an island out there to preordain. You always kind of want to preordain when your opponent can't spell Star Sprite, but I think in this instance, getting the Dimir Aqueduct out is better. Because the way to keep up with the blue-red deck... Oh. It's Blitz. Okay, well, cool. Alright, well, here we're going to preordain and pretend like we're drawing into the Doomblade. Anyway, oh, that's even better, is the Chainer's Edict. I want to use Chainer's Edict right now, I think, because if my opponent... No, actually, I think... Yeah, okay, I think Doomblade's still better. I was gonna... we gotta talk about Doomblade. Yeah, I think Doomblade's still better just because it can be protected against or dispelled, is where Chainer's Edict is straight up. The reason I was thinking maybe I don't play Chainer's Edict is because of, if they play another Delver, it's gonna suck, but, you know. I think that's fine, because I have an Echoing Decay to kill the Delver anyway. So, alright. Another threat, that's fine. That card's not great against this deck. But since we have Echoing Decay, it's also not terrible. Now this turn's good because I can use Chainer's Edict to get rid of this Nivik Cyclops, and I can also play the Dismal Backwater and not lose any tempo. I guess I'll just keep the island up instead of tapping it so I can F8, but I don't really think it makes a huge difference at all. Alright, so 3 Nivik Cyclops. I guess this is a good enough time to go Forbidden Alchemy looking for something, because I don't get to 6 mana this turn. Can only get to 5. And we see Probe. Well, I can't Probe. Well, I guess I take Probe on the off chance that I don't die. And just bin the rest. And play this island and pass. I don't think taking the Preordain there was going to help me. I guess because either way I need to live this turn, and next turn I can go Echoing Decay plus 7 cards Justice if I live. But maybe my opponent plays a land, exhausts a couple of things I live, and I can go Probe and rip their hand apart. Granted, this deck is very good at just going spell, and a bunch of stuff. So... The other thing is, like, I'm at 21, which is also good, but I don't have a removal spell, so I'm pretty much caught with my pants down. And, I don't have any 1-mana spells that kill the Nivik Cyclops, so I think Probe is probably just better in the long run, is where Preordain was just better there. They bottomed and topped. Okay. So they need 2 more spells here. 1 Timur Battle Rage is not going to kill me, because I'll take 20, and I'll go to 1. But then I can't Evankar's Justice. Then this is literally just a dead card in my hand, which is unfortunate, But, I can discard it to probe, so I guess that's not a bad thing when you get right down to it. And my opponent chose to shuffle their library, so that's a good thing for me. Means they're looking for something. Or looking for it, rather. And a Shadow Rift. Okay, well, if they have Assault Strobe, if they're going that old school, then I am dead. Because the most I can make myself take is 22, which will put me to -1. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. So, we're taking 10. Which means I'm not dead, and I can still use the 7 cards Justice next turn to kill this thing. So, that's good. Yeah. That's great. Oh, there's 4 cards in hand, though. Alright. So, we'll just go ahead and kill this, because I'm dead next turn otherwise. If my opponent has Apostle's Blessing, well, then I'm screwed. Yeah. So... Alright. Let's see. Preordain. Let's see what my opponent does with it. Not really sure what they're going to do with it. They're taking a little bit, so maybe they're doing some math. Maybe they're going to bottom top, or they could top in a specific order. Okay, so looks like they're topping one. I guess they could top the other one too. They did. So the question is, am I going to see a creature? I don't. Okay, so they're pondering. I mean, there's a good chance they're not going to shuffle the library then, right? Because they would want to keep the other card. But I could be wrong. Okay, so they chose not to shuffle, so they're probably going to flip the Delver. Which means, unfortunately, I'm probably dead. And I want to probe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 mana available. So if I probe, I'm hoping to draw a removal spell, and if I don't, I can try to preordain into a Tragic Slip to kill this, or a Disfigure to kill that. And I think that's my best bet, because it makes them have no cards in hand, which makes it a bit better for me. Because I could preordain and have more mana available, but I think what I want to do is just try to give myself the best chance to win. Augur of Bolas, however, is also really good because it allows me to have a blocker for Kiln Fiend. Also draws me into Forbidden Alchemy. Ooh, they had Dimir, Battle Rage, and Lightning Bolt. Okay, so I'm not totally dead. I'm going to go Augur of Bolas, though, because I know there's no Disfigure in the top 3, or Tragic Slip. But there's going to be a Doomblade or a Chainer's Edict. I'm calling it. I'm all in on what I just said. All in. Going in 9-10 suited. Yes, I was right. Alright. So Soul Manipulation doesn't really do anything right now. What it will do is allow me to return the Augur of Bolas when it dies. Opponent flipped a Preordain. Hopefully they don't find anything off of it. That's the whole hope right now, as it were. So we'll see what they do. Opponent. Sorry if you can hear that. Alright, well, we're gonna block, because going into bolt range is not good. So you go ahead and block. Opponent bottom, though. So they don't necessarily have a lightning bolt in their hand. And they didn't cast anything. I mean, I'm fighting tooth and nail here, so alright, let's go ahead and Forbidden Alchemy. using, let's see if I want to keep a counterspell. Guess it's better to do it this way then. It's much easier to use your basics or your single. Oh my Christ. Alright, well, that didn't not really work out for me. Excuse my language, by the way. Alright, let's Pyridine. And see if I get somewhere in life. Doomblade. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep both. Did I play a land this turn yet? I don't remember. Did I play a land? Text. I did not. Okay, so we can go that. So let's go ahead and go Augur. And, ooh. I could pick Chainer's Edict. But I have to deal with the Delver, so I can't really do that. And now, my opponent's got one card. I don't know if it's better to... I think it's better to just Doomblade now, probably. I think it's still better to just make them use something. Okay. So the good thing is if I get to block, I live, and then I have Chainer's Edict in my graveyard. I will block the crap out of your Kiln Fiend. That's what I thought. Okay, so they did draw land. They played a second mountain. Let's see, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I can actually do everything I want because I have. Let's see, 1, 2. I think I have 8 mana. Yeah. So let's go ahead and cast Signet, and then Chainer's Edict, just like that. What? About to say, do you have a counterspell? Because it looked like my opponent was actually getting ready to cast something. There's no haste creatures in this deck, as far as I know. No one plays the Crimson Wisps version really anymore. I think that's like what the card's called. The thing from Shadowmoor, like gives a red creature haste or something. But yeah. So sweet. So now I have a win condition, and I have Soul Manipulation. I'm pretty sure we won this game. We got kind of lucky that my opponent, well, we as in me, got kind of lucky that my opponent did not draw their cards in the exact right order. I mean, had they had the Dimir Battle Rage that turn, I was dead. So it wouldn't really have worked out too well. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Magic Online apparently is going really, really slow right now. And then I guess we can just say go. Can I actually cast Forbidden Alchemy if I want to? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I can. Look at that. Alright. I don't think I can lose this game anymore. But, oh, I shouldn't say that because my opponent draws like bolt, bolt, bolt. I'm just dead currently. So I guess that's something that could happen. You know, just that's how life goes sometimes. Metamorphose. Okay. I applaud my opponent for using the correct Metamorphose. At the time of this recording, I'm actually watching SGDQ. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is Summer Games Done Quick. It is a gigantic, sure you can see my hand. It is a gigantic speedrunning event that gives all money to charity. The charity is Doctors Without Borders. They also have Awesome Games Done Quick, better known as AGDQ, usually in January of every year. They give to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So that's always a good thing. Alright, so my opponent knew that I had Soul Manipulation in my hand, so... But I'm still just going to use it here to return my Augur and counter this. The reason why is because if I draw any other edicts, it's going to make it better. I think I have... Do I have another edict in my graveyard? I do have another... No, wait, I don't. That's in Necron. Okay. I don't, but still. Also, I kind of just want to keep my opponent's board clear, and I want to draw some more cards. Okay, I guess that could also just happen. You know... Yup. It's the first time in a long time that that's happened, but okay. Just rearranging the bottom 3 cards in my library. Don't mind if I do. But yeah, I like watching speedrunning. It's a lot of fun. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week event for 1 week. So they start on Sunday and they usually finish, I think, like Sunday morning is when the final run goes off. The final run usually finishes or something. I don't know what they're ending with this year, but I can tell you that there's a speedrunner named Spiked Vegeta, or Spike Vegeta, I think is his name. That dude is hilarious. That dude is actually hilarious. Just check out his stream. He's pretty funny. Nice guy, too, from what I can see. Very, very nice gentleman. Dude loves bread, apparently. That dude really loves bread. If it's a creature, I'm just going to let it go. Counterspell is going to mainly be used for countering multiple lightning bolts. Alright. So we're going to bring in 4 Hydroblast and 2 Prohibit. And we're also going to bring in the Thorn of the Black Rose. The reason why is because I should not be taking combat damage very much. And I'm not actually going to be casting this unless I can guarantee myself to not take combat damage. Let's see how many cards I take out first. So Everguard Justice is not very good. Yes, it kills Kiln Fiend. Yes, it kills Delver. But it's very slow on the draw, and I think on the play it'd be better. Echoing Decay does not really do a whole lot. Tragic Slip is not great. It only kills a non-flip Delver unless you combine it with something, so that's not good. Probe is not at its best. We can substitute 1 for Thorn of the Black Rose. I guess we could take out a Forbidden Alchemy, and we'll take out a Disfigure, probably. No, Disfigure's pretty good. Yeah, Disfigure's pretty good. We could take out an Augur, actually. The reason for that is Augur is not really going to block all that much. So in a way, I guess we could substitute an Augur for the Thorn of the Black Rose, when you think about it. So yeah. Alright, this hand's really good. The counterspell is kind of weak at the moment, but it does have Mortuary Mire to return this Augur Bolus if it dies. It's got an Augur Bolus to possibly get something good and be a 1/3 blocker. It's got Chainer's Edict, which is pretty much the best spell against any of these types of decks. By these types of decks, I mean these, just one-trick creature decks. That is literally the card I was hoping not to see. But we did draw Hydroblast, so that's good. I think I'm still just going to go Dismal Backwater. The reason why is because unless my opponent casts a Kiln Fiend next turn, I'm not going to use Hydroblast, and I want to be able to use Chainer's Edict. My opponent did mulligan, so I guess I should see if they scry to the top or the bottom. They scried to the bottom, and they whiffed, so that's good for me. And there, unfortunately, is a Kiln Fiend. Now, the question is, do I use Hydroblast now, or maybe I just leave up Counterspell? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Augur of Bolus. The reason I want to play Augur of Bolus is because it does block, and my opponent does have 3 cards in hand. Let's see what I draw first. We drew a Probe. Well, that actually kind of changes things. So, the big problem here now is once I play the island, I don't have 3 mana to access next turn. And I could easily just die next turn if my opponent goes island, cantrip, Dimir, battle rage, kill you, lol, whatever. By cantrip, I mean like preordain into attacks and probe. My head hurts really bad. Options. So, oh man, I don't know what I want to do actually. Because my opponent goes Nivik Cyclops next turn, it's going to suck a little bit. I could just go... No, you know what? I think the best play is probably just Hydroblast this now, then Dimir Aqueduct, because then I can go Augur of Bolus looking for a Hydroblast. Or if I draw a Swamp, I can go Augur of Bolus looking for a Disfigure. But probably looking for a Hydroblast. Because then if I draw another Hydroblast, I can kill another red creature that they play. Hopefully they don't play one, but they might. And I can also Chainer's Edict in the same turn. Probe is going to be pretty decent this game, I think, if I can get to it. Alright, well, my opponent did not flip their Delver. Oh, and they're not casting anything? Please say it's so. Sweet. Let's go ahead and Chainer's Edict. And then play this Dismal Backwater. Please don't have Negate. Thank you. And pass the turn. Now, I'm not out of the woods, because when they cast Nivik Cyclops next turn, it's still going to be a bit of an issue. Oh, never mind, they're not. Sweet. Alright, let's cast this Augur of Bolas. I don't actually know if it's good to cycle the Barrenmore first or after. If anybody can tell me, go ahead. We'll definitely take Hydroblast over Disfigure. You want to be able to kill the red creatures, not the Delver and the Kiln Fiend. So that's why. And then we'll go ahead and cycle this. And we're going to play Dimir Aqueduct. I'm not going to play the Mortuary Mire for literally no reason. And I'm not going to play the Island just to hold up Hydroblast or Counterspell. I would rather be able to hit 6 mana on turn 6. So I can go Probe plus Hydroblast if I need to. Okay. So let's go ahead and Doomblade this now. Actually, first, we'll play this Island so that I can do that. Because I'd rather be able to Counterspell or play this Kiln Fiend. Which I think I'm willing to sacrifice the Chainer's Edict in my graveyard. No, I'm not. I'd rather just be able to Counterspell. My opponent has not shown me to have a Dispel, so Preordain, sure. You never really want to counter the Preordain unless it's like the only card in their hand and you're about to win the game. You usually want to, you know, counter what they get. So that's the reason for that. But now we're going to probe and just completely decimate my opponent. Welcome to Magical Christmas Land, everybody. I hope you enjoy your stay. Just draw millions of lands. Okay, we'll discard. Actually, we'll just discard both Dismal Backwaters because I don't really need the lands coming into play tapped. I don't really think I need the life. Island and Timur Battle Rage. Alright. Well, getting the island is kind of a wash, but getting the Battle Rage is always huge, so just pass the turn. Hopefully my opponent doesn't go Blood Moon. Oh yeah, you can't play that in this format. Island for Gush? Oh, Probe me. I have what's called a typical control player's hand. What I mean by that is I have 4 lands and 3 spells, which means I'm not missing a land drop for the next 4 turns. Alright, Probe into Ponder. Cool. What you got? I mean, I have Chainer's Edict next turn, so whatever creature they play, if I need to deal with it or want to, I can. And either way, Gurmag Angler is coming down next turn if that doesn't happen. They chose not to shuffle, but they didn't play anything. Okay, so they could have a Gush. No, if they had a Gush, they would have... Maybe they have a Pyroblast in hand with another card coming next turn. So that could be something. So go ahead and attack for 1. I'd love to ninja back this Augur of Bolas right now. that'd be pretty good. Okay, so since this is a wash and I'm going to preordain anyway, let's go ahead and preordain to feed the Angler. And we'll go ahead and keep both, but we're going to keep preordain first. And, well, actually, do I really want to cast Angler this turn? Yeah, I think I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. I realize what I did, by the way. This island should not be tapped. It was an accident. I wasn't really thinking when I cast it. My head hurts really bad right now. Don't mind me. Just don't mind me. I want to play a nice looking mountain at least. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so you're gonna draw another Augur Bolus. As always, just attack first. Excuse my cat while he sneezes. Let's go ahead and cast Augur. Alright, this game is long over. With 3 Chainer's Edicts, this game is pretty much long over. What I mean by 3 is I have this, and then I have this plus the flashback of it, So I won my 2 on-camera matches. I will tell you about the Affinity match when I go to my conclusion. I mean, it's like I said, I have my own gripes about this deck. I don't think this is a bad deck by any means. I have my own gripes about it. I think a lot of decks in Pauper can be good. It's just a matter of, you know, when the time is right, things like that. I mean, to me, this seems like more of what was at the time a metagame deck. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong in the way that I'm thinking, though. So the good thing is my opponent's at 5, and they need 2 lightning bolts just to take care of this, and it can't be hit by Pyroblast, so that's a good thing. And I have just infinite ways. Okay, I guess it can be taken care of by that, but we're going to use Prohibit. Because Counterspell is just more versatile. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many Pyroblasts do you got? And then close the door. Why did I don't know what I'm singing anymore. My opponent's probably like, who the heck plays Prohibit? Alright. 1 lightning bolt. 2 lightning bolts. We'll go ahead and counterspell that. Actually, no, we're going to get Hydroblast because my opponent has a Dispel in their hand. I'm going to look pretty silly. And I don't really want this game to take any longer. I don't want to play anymore. Go ahead and pass the turn. Oh. Haha! You took too long to check me F6ing. Because I did F6, but I waited. My opponent took just far too long. Haha! Alright, sweet. Be right back. And there's, boys and girls, is why you don't F6 ever. Because there's always the chance that your opponent is trying to catch you in the F6. Anyway. So, the way that the Affinity match happened was, game 1, my opponent just drew 3 Thought Casts within the top 20 cards, and I never drew a Counterspell. I think I had mulliganed, my mana never came together, and they just went 4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4, and I just couldn't win. And then game 2, I made a bad judgment call with Null, and then I ended up just drawing lands after that, while my opponent drew 4 Thought Casts in the top 16 cards of their deck, and just crushed me. So there wasn't really a point, but I can definitely say that this deck's Affinity matchup lacks a little bit. As far as my final thoughts on the deck, I think the deck is good, though I have seen the person that played this deck in the Pauper Challenge, what was last week now, at the time of this recording, because it's Sunday today, so it would be last Sunday now, is that... I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, I have seen them playing more of the Archaeomancer version of this deck, so, that doesn't mean to say the deck's bad. It's just, I have my own gripes about this deck. Well, I like the Probe. I think the Probes are pretty good. They're not good in every matchup, but they're good when they're good. I don't like relying so much on Forbidden Alchemy. I think Accumulated Knowledge would be better in this deck. I definitely like the Augur of Boluses. I think they're much better than Delvers. I think this deck is better than Angler Delver. I'd like to see Ghastly Demise instead of Tragic Slip, possibly. And I think that Evankar's Justice is good. But I'm not sure how good. That remains to be seen. I think I think this deck also needs a way to return the Gurmag Angler. I think, just more ways. Maybe a second Mortuary Mire or a Grim Harvest. I also want to say that I do think that this deck is playable. So, do I think you should play this deck? Yeah, I think this deck is fun. I think this deck is good. But I think in the long run, and this is my final conclusion, from my own personal beliefs, my own personal testing, my own personal opinion. Remember, I do not claim to be an expert. I do not claim to be a professional. I like to stretch that as much as possible. I think that the Archaeomancer version is just better than this deck. I think that the Reaping the Graves with Archaeomancer and being able to return your spells and being able to rely on the Chittering Rats, joke and all that stuff is just, in a nutshell, it's just better. Okay, that's just what it is. It's just better. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can play this deck. I can also say that I have a positive record with this deck. I think in 10 matches now, I am X3. So, actually, it might be... What? I don't know how many matches I have. I know it's more than 5, and I know I'm X3. I know I have a positive record. That's all I know. But, either way. Yeah. Go play with this deck if you want. But I am not responsible if you do not do as well as you were hoping. So, yeah. Anyway, so the CPC is coming up at the time of this recording. I think by the time that these videos get posted, we have already been done with our first week. So remember to check out twitch.tv/community pauper challenge, where ZMagic94, if you want to check him out, his Twitch page, he's a very good dedicated streamer. He's also a great friend. And myself will be hosting with a lot of great players, such as Mikey Ruru, Kung Fu Trees, Pauper MTG, Mo Lovebow is finally in at this time, and returning players such as Ulu Guru, Math Guy, Littlefield, etc. And you don't want to miss Shane. Just letting you know. Also, check out puremtgo.com, of course, as always, because they have a bunch of better articles and videos that are much better than my own work, and always will be. I have no problem admitting that. If you guys don't really have to, but I figured I always ask. If you want to subscribe to me on YouTube, I don't plan on, making this a career, but it makes me feel good every time I get a subscriber, and, maybe if I can take off someday, or, get picked up by some cool sponsor or something, and be forced to act more professional than I already am. Okay, I'm not professional at all, but that's not really the point here. The point is, if you want to subscribe, you can. I don't require it. I'm not begging you to. You don't have to. I just ask very nicely that you enjoy my videos and hopefully learn from them. Yeah, so that's really it. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a good one. Take care.